Here to weigh in on this and more, retired Brigadier General Blaine Holt and, of course, Gordon Chang, author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War and also author of that great book, The Coming Collapse of China. Look, I want to start with you, Gordon, because you've been telling us about this for some time, that China has a 100-year plan, that we are stuck in our own 24-hour news cycle. And now we see the beginnings of the end game for China, as they have effectively funded all of the acts of atrocities that we are trying to push back against. And when you don't have American leadership that calls them to account, it actually starts to have a compound effect.
It certainly does. And we have seen this in the Biden administration because, as you pointed out, they haven't defended us. For instance, that open southern border. We are seeing packs of Chinese males, 5 to 15 at a time, not traveling with family members, pretending not to speak English, of military age. And Border Patrol, our Border Patrol, knows that some of them have links to the Chinese military. We know about these secret Chinese facilities throughout the U.S., including that secret biological weapons lab in Reedley, California. So they're putting in place the infrastructure to attack America from American soil. And of course, there's the fentanyl. As you point out, we can go on, but the Biden administration does not seem to care that this is a planning for an attack on the American people.
Absolutely. You know, General, I'll bring you in here because it appears to many that Russia, in some ways, has been content to become either a partially owned or wholly owned subsidiary of China, right? They've built this kind of symbiotic relationship when it comes to their economy. And so if you recognize that Russia, in many ways, basically a corporation under the Chinese Communist Party, if we know that Hamas and Hezbollah are, in fact, subsidiaries of Iran, it also appears that Iran, in some ways, is a subsidiary of the Chinese Communist Party. So how do we nip this all in the bud if we know where the money is coming from and we know that where the money is going to people who actually do not want to see the American people exist or the proliferation of life for our allies like the Jewish state of Israel?
Joe and Gordon, it's great to be on with you, and Happy New Year. You gentlemen are talking about the exact right things. Look, breaking news. We are at war with China. We have been for some time. It may not involve missiles and bombs, but it certainly involves what we call fifth dimensional or hybrid warfare, fifth generation warfare, where cyber, informational, propaganda, business warfare, extortion, blackmailing, compromising politicians, paying for politicians, making them do different things, and then co-opting countries. So there is this alliance, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and it is working to get rid of the U.S. dollar. It's pulling in to its gravitational pull the Middle East and other countries, South Africa, now Central and South America, to try to, it's all aimed at one country, and that is us. And if we don't have the will, if we're compromised in our government, and I mean on both sides of the aisle, if we allow Chinese dollars or Chinese renminbi to keep flooding the system, co-opting our banking, then we are going to be at the end of the whip when they finally decide that this cow is weak enough for the slaughter. They won't be successful because I'll say something hopeful. Xi Jinping and the CCP are playing a pair of twos at home. They are in major trouble. Their economy is in the sewer, but that also, unfortunately, militarily makes them very, very dangerous.
Absolutely. I mean, it appears to me that we have to start playing for keeps. Our enemies are playing for keeps. This new axis of evil is humming like your favorite CD. I mean, you look at Iran, you look at Russia, you look at China. China and Russia doing joint naval exercises for the first time in modern history. China with a navy that is larger than our navy at a time when we all know that no matter what you want to say about the triad, history shows us that most of the time the person with the largest navy wins. So look, I want to pivot here. Blaine, I'll come back to you because we have this special article from Alan Dershowitz on Newsmax.com effectively saying Iran has declared war on the U.S. Again, when you know that it's Iran that's funding Hamas, Iran that's funding Hezbollah, Iran in many ways that's yelling death to America, is it fair to say that the time for trying to pretend that Iran is our friend, send them candy canes and hope that an Iran nuclear deal will make them play nice in the sandbox is over. We need American leadership that finally treats Iran like the terrorist actor that they are.
That's right. And we just make our own lives and our own nation more imperiled and more dangerous. So they have declared war on us, which is interesting. And we have given them or looked the other way so that they could accumulate over $100 billion in selling oil illicitly to China. So how much money would we have to give them? How many billions of dollars per hostage would we have to give them to appease them? I think the message is in. Appeasement doesn't work. Here's my concern. Is we have an array of U.S. forces, 19 bases on land. We have forces afloat, and yet we don't impose a cost imposition on Iran. Our administration won't even say the four-letter word Iran. They won't acknowledge that Houthi targets need to be hit now. And if we don't do those things, the war that we hope to avoid is going to come here in droves, and it won't just be in the Middle East, Joe. It'll be right here on our own soil because the Iranians are here, Hamas is here, Hezbollah is here, the PLA is here, and all the other actors, and there's about 8 million of them. And we're going to see that war be right here on our own soil if we continue on this trajectory.
Gordon, last word to you here. If Xi is serious, if they have seen enough, if they have watched Russia hack the U.S. homeland with the Colonial Pipeline hack and with the JBS hack and do nothing, watch Russia roll the tanks across the border in Ukraine and send money but really have no plan to actually end that conflict. They've watched effectively there in Afghanistan where the Taliban's taken over the entire country. If China looks at all of this and says, now is the moment, we're taking back Taiwan, what is the solution here, and how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, there is that cascading effect that began with the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan, spread to Ukraine, North Africa, Gaza. And the way to stop it is to take one of those proxies and make them pay the ultimate cost. And we can do this. You know, we know where the Houthi bases are that are attacking Red Sea shipping. But as the general said, we're not doing anything about it. And, you know, we can make China hurt in a number of different ways because, as the general said, the Chinese economy is in the sewer. They are extremely vulnerable right now. They need the U.S. market. We can cut that off, as President Trump started to do. If we do that, then we have the makings of a solution that do not involve the use of force. And God to hope, you know, that we are able to get out of this without another war.
Gordon Chang, Blaine Holt, great to see you both. God bless you. We'll talk soon.
God bless.
Happy New Year.